Man, oh man, Marvel, what a roller coaster ride of emotions you have been recently. We started the year off with Captain America, Crap New World, and that was just bad on a lot of different fronts. And then we had Daredevil Born Again, which had some great moments, but then had some really bad moments. And it felt like a monstrosity of different visions combined together. Just really, really disappointing. And then Thunderbolts came out, and that was like something that really made me feel something amazing. Everything I wanted from Marvel. Then we had Ironheart, which I don't even want to get into, and then we have Fantastic Four, which, not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna be surprised with this. I mean, I was thinking it was gonna be mid. Based off of the trailers, it looked pretty mid, and I thought maybe it was gonna be a Thunderbolts situation. I thought Thunderbolts was really gonna be a nothing burger, and it absolutely blew me away. But unfortunately, Fantastic Four First Steps pretty much met my expectations and didn't subvert them like Thunderbolts did. Let's get into Fantastic Four First Steps. Let's dive into this piece of mid pie. And with that all out of the way,
come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
Yeah, so with Fantastic Four First Steps, let me start off with things I really want to praise with this, because there's a lot of really great things with Fantastic Four First Steps. First off, it feels different than any other MCU film, which I really appreciate. I love how Marvel's actually trying to make movies again instead of movies I feel like they were cooked up with ChatGPT involved. The directing, the cinematography, a lot of practical effects in this, it was all really well crafted, put together, and it was something unique. We never saw a Marvel movie like this. I've never seen anything like this just in a superhero movie in general. It was definitely something different with this movie, and I appreciate Marvel not doing its typical superhero generic crap. Also, the music was really well done in this movie as well. So a lot of that aesthetic stuff was absolutely fantastic, no pun intended. But the sauce of this story was just, it lost me, and it went way too fast, and at times it was just kind of forgettable. I hate saying that because there was a lot of really unique things into this movie, but it's just a lot of it went by way too fast, and I kind of just didn't care about most of the characters by the end of the movie. I didn't feel anything for them, and I hate saying that. There are some things I thought were really dumb too, which I'll get more into spoilers, which also kind of left me feeling like, okay, we're just gonna go with that. Decisions by certain characters I felt like was really weird as well. The overall story could have been really interesting if it just didn't feel so rushed and such a weird pacing. The movie has such a weird pacing going on that I feel like I can't just sit and breathe with the characters. Speaking of the characters, our main four, like I said, I didn't really care for any of the characters, but there was mainly two that I kind of disliked the way that they were portrayed, and just their characterization I have some issues with, and then there was two I thought were pretty good, and well, one I think was really, really good. So just getting into each character really quickly, we'll start off with the leader, Mr. Fantastic. Oh man, I had a feeling this was going to be the case going into this movie, but I just didn't buy Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. He just felt like version of Pedro Pascal playing a smarter version than himself. It was essentially that. I didn't feel like I was watching Mr. Fantastic on the screen. I felt like I was just watching Pedro Pascal do his thing, and he's a great actor. The performance is great. I don't want to criticize an actor's performance because there's a lot that goes into it, and again, it's a really good performance. He's doing really good with the material that he's been given, but I just don't feel like I'm watching Reed Richards. I don't feel like I'm watching Mr. Fantastic. And also, I don't really buy the chemistry with him and Vanessa Kirby's Invisible Woman. I feel like their chemistry is a little off. I wonder if they did any kind of screen testing. I'm guessing they didn't, but like, I just saw Superman. Really good movie. The chemistry between David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan, perfection. You could tell they really dig each other. Invisible Woman and Reed Richards in this movie are supposed to be married, and I don't really feel the love there. At least I don't feel it that strongly. Speaking of Vanessa Kirby as Invisible Woman, I feel like she was a pretty good Invisible Woman. The best Invisible Woman we've ever seen on the big screen, which isn't saying much because we've never gotten a good Fantastic Four movie. And even now, even though this, I have to say, is the best Fantastic Four movie, it's still not even a good movie, in my opinion. But besides the point, I think she was really well done in this movie. I think she's a really cool character, pretty badass. They've done Invisible Woman pretty good in this movie. Vanessa Kirby, I think, was a really good casting choice for the character. And also, I got to shout out Human Torch. Again, Joseph Quinn really, really did a good job with this role, and he did a really good job in this movie. And I feel like the character of Human Torch is just perfect. The best we've ever gotten, which we have gotten good Human Torches. Chris Evans, great as Human Torch, and also Michael B. Jordan was pretty good in the character as well. Joseph Quinn, I have to say, is the best of them all. He knocked the role out of the park. And that leads us with our last character, the Thing. And I don't know. I didn't really like the Thing too much in this movie. I mean, I didn't hate the character. He actually wasn't really doing much in the movie. They kind of tried to give him something to do in this, but it just kind of felt rushed. Didn't really have a great execution to the thing that they tried to do with the character of the Thing in this movie. Again, no pun intended. But the Thing was just a little too soft for me, in my opinion. And what I mean by that, it's just there's no weight to this character. He's just kind of so fluffy. And I get there's times in the comics where he's really portrayed as a monster, and then there's times where we get this version of the Thing. You know, it is comic book accurate to certain degrees, but I just wish there was more heaviness and a bit more of a weight to this character and a bit more tragedy that could have been explored with the Thing. And I hate saying this, but the 2005 Fantastic Four movie did a better job with the Thing than what they did with him here. And I gotta say, Michael Chiklis was just an amazing Thing. One of the best comic book castings we've ever gotten. Even the voice of that version of the Thing was a lot better. I kind of hate that they don't have that 2005 Thing voice with this version of the character. Something a bit more gruffled and something that sounds a bit, something that has sauce. A voice that's kind of similar to the Hulk. The 2005 Thing sounded perfect in my opinion. And I don't love that movie. I think that movie's kind of bad. This movie is a lot better than the 2005 Fantastic Four movie. But yeah, gotta unfortunately say, 20 years ago, they did it a lot better in terms of writing and showing the character of the Thing. Overall, I gotta say, Fantastic Four First Steps, pretty mid to kind of below average. I think so far what I'm seeing, the critics are really loving the movie. Don't know how a lot of other non-critic people are feeling about Fantastic Four First Steps. But if people enjoy this, then that's great. I don't really get it. I maybe I need to rewatch it again. Maybe I don't know. Just the pacing kind of left me feeling really nothing. And then the ending, which we'll talk about in the spoilers, was really, really dumb in my opinion. I'm going to give this movie a 60%. And I hate saying that. I really want a good Fantastic Four movie. Hopefully we'll one day get that, but that day is just not today. Alrighty, now we got all that non-spoiler stuff out of the way. Let's dive into spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Spoiler warning, you have been warned. First thing I want to talk about is just the ending. I felt like the ending was really dumb in my opinion. I felt like it was rushed too. The thing with the Silver Surfer was, I think it was done really poorly in this movie. I really wanted there to be a dark ending and, have that ending of this movie lead to a post-credit scene of Thunderbolts. Maybe the world of the Fantastic Four is just, it's over. It gets eaten by Galactus, and somehow that involves Doctor Doom. But it looks like Doctor Doom, based off that post-credit scene, which was really cool. It was cool seeing Doom for the first time in action. It's like so cool. And Robert Downey Jr. still mixed on that, but I can't lie, I'm pretty excited about that. It looks like Doctor Doom is just going to kidnap Franklin just like what Galactus was doing, but instead of Galactus not succeeding, looks like Doctor Doom is just going to succeed. And I guess once Doctor Doom kidnaps Franklin, they're going to go after him, looking for him through multiverses. I guess Reed Richards is just going to think of a way to be able to travel through the multiverse, or maybe there's going to be some sort of crazy way that Fantastic Four ends up in the main universe timeline. And also, I guess Secret Wars is going to implement them into the main Marvel Cinematic Universe, where we get Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man all in the same universe. But the ending, it was just so fluffy. I didn't hate the ending. It wasn't awful. It was just so, nice little bow, nice little wrap up to this movie. If this movie had the balls to destroy the world that they were on, and somehow that leads them to the main Marvel Universe timeline, that would have been so cool. I would have given this movie a 70% probably, because they had the balls to do something really risky like that, something really dark for just like a regular movie, and just ties in with Doomsday and stuff. But no, it It ends with a nice little bow. Nothing really significant happens except seeing Franklin use his powers. And also, when Sue died, am I the only one that I felt like it was a little hollow? Except from Pedro Pascal. He did a really good performance when Sue died. But Ben was just kind of standing there, and then Johnny didn't really look as emotional as I think he should have looked. Wasn't executed right. And that's what I gotta say about this movie too. It's just there's a lot of really great ideas in this. Like, it's a really interesting concept, sacrificing either your son or the world. There's just some really good stuff in this movie, just not really executed really well. And there's just a lot of forgettable stuff due to the poor execution. And I just kind of left the movie forgetting things. The only things I really remember is just the plot, dumb ending, and, just a lot of really cool aesthetics, really great directing, really great cinematography. And I just left the feeling with everything feeling like a real movie. It wasn't feeling like it was an AI generated script that was being made up on the spot. Some other stuff I didn't think worked with the story is, why was the Fantastic Four so open with their personal lives? That was just really weird to me. Like, you don't have to tell the world that it's either your son or their world. You don't need to tell the public anything. They should have just kept it to themselves. That would have been really interesting. There's just some really good ideas oh man, the potential with this movie could have been so freaking cool. If they kept that in, and, they had to keep that internal conflict within themselves, and then, they do decide to not sacrifice their son, and ends up having Galactus win because of those actions. That could have been a really good way to have those characters deal with those consequences in the next movie. But yeah, we got what we got. We'll see how they're handled in Doomsday. I'm not really thrilled of the idea of Reed being the leader in Avengers Doomsday. Hopefully he's not the leader in Secret Wars, because I just don't really like this version of Mr. Fantastic. I mean, I don't hate the character. I don't think he's a bad character or anything. I just this doesn't feel like Reed Richards, and the writing is there. Him being the world's smartest man is there. Some of the complexities to the character are there within the writing. It's just performance-wise, I just don't really think it works. And there's just some other things that the character does I just don't really buy. It's like, man, I think John Krasinski would have been perfect as a Mr. Fantastic for this movie. I really wanted to like this movie. I really wanted to like this cast, and I half like the cast. I half like the characters. But, it is what it is. Maybe Marvel can course correct. I doubt it, because based off the critics, they loved this movie. As far as I know, maybe that number will go down in terms of critics' appreciation for it and stuff. But if this is a win for Marvel, then great. I love Thunderbolts, and they said we're gonna get more movies like Thunderbolts. So I'm in. I'm in for Doomsday. Even though I am worried about that movie because of the Russos recently not making great stuff. And it looks like there's aspects of the movie that's going to be rushed. And plus, now that we know how the Fantastic Four is going to be implemented into that movie, I think that's pretty dumb, in my opinion. It's essentially this movie story with Galactus wanting Franklin, Doomsday wants Franklin, and he's going to win. He's going to be able to get their son and succeed in that goal. So next Marvel movie is going to be Spider-Man Brand New Day. Can't believe we're going to wait a year for the next Spider-Man movie, but we're going to get Spider-Man, then we're going to get Avengers Doomsday. We'll see how all of these stories are going to somehow connect, hopefully in a coherent way. And, we all know Doom is a last-minute main big bad guy situation. We'll just have to wait and see. We can't guess if it's going to be good or bad. I don't know. I'm really split on it. I just really hope it's going to be really well executed.